Hello, hello. Sorry for being a little late. I just now noticed the time. Alright, just want to make sure everything's good on my end. Hello, hello. Thank you all for coming. Okay, so I've converted from OBS Studio to Streamlabs. So if there's anything different, please let me know. So I guess for you, it would look like it's exactly the same, but, tell me if you see a little something pop up. I just want to make sure it's okay on my end as well. Let's find out. Hooray! It shows up. Because I didn't want to figure it out on OBS Studio, Streamlabs has now enabled me to have motherfucking notifications in this shit. Yeah, there's small upgrades every day. The path to improvement. So now we can get little donations and subscriptions and followings and things like that. I'm just using test things. These are not actual people. But yeah. So now actual notifications can show up on the screen. I haven't had the time to fiddle around with it yet, so I do want to change the or what these notifications look like in the future. But for right now, it's stream time. I'll figure that out on my own time. Please get hype for very low low resolution fucking Ace Attorney sprites going nuts in the corner. Oh, that'd be fun. I hope everybody had a good day so far. I kinda did. I was a little tired from work. Alrighty then. Just gonna close that out. Okay, everything looks a go. Oh, there's lag. Is lag on your end or my end, or is there anything I can do to fix it? You give it 30 minutes. I'm sorry about that. Apparently Streamlabs gives it's a little more it's a needy bitch, you see. I tried to explain it in technical terms, but I only just learned about these things like 2 hours ago. So instead of explaining it in technical terms, it requires a little more, I guess, processing power, other than OBS Studio. I'll continue to fiddle around with both, but if it stays like laggy on your end, then I don't know. I'll fiddle around with both. I'll see. But thanks for letting me know. Thanks for letting me know. Alright. So last time we left off, there was, we were backed against the corner. The prosecution had us on the ropes. And the judge said, yeah, we're about to hand down the guilty verdict. Y'all fucking suck. And then the jury said the same thing. But then Susato, the GOAT, the eternal greatest attorney GOAT, came in clutch and said, nah. We got rules that no one's using, so let's use them. And then Ryunosuke's like, bet, give me them rules no one's using. And so here we are. We're about to exercise our right to fuck the jury up and say, but what if you thought about it more logically than whatever you're thinking about? And isn't that just a lawyer's job? So I guess we'll continue on from there. Oh, yeah, okay. Right. I just remembered how this whole thing works. Okay. Now to remember all of your voices. I'll do my best. Alright, so let's start off with the tried and true method of press. Certainly, the testimonies we've heard suggest the victim and Mr. McGilded were alone inside the carriage. Precisely my point. But could there be some other explanation? Something we haven't considered yet? Such as? Off to an incredible start as our first press. Well, perhaps that's something we could, all work out together now? Now listen here. Maybe you don't know how things work around here because you're from foreign climes. But we're here to form our opinions as individuals, and I have. Oh dear. He doesn't appear to be in the mood to consider an alternative point of view, does he? No. I'm going to have to pit the jurors against one another, like Susato-san said. Finding contradictions in these 6 people's assertions is the only way I'm going to succeed. But does his ability to recall his takings that night really tell us how trustworthy the man is? I manage all his lordship's cash affairs, so I'm very particular when it comes to accounts. I see. A single penny can mean the difference between life and death after all, can't it? That's a saying in your country? My point is, a man who minds his figures is a man you can trust. Oh shit, what up, Taven? Welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it. Those of us in service would swear to that, sir. Does that bench really need any more polishing? Welcome to Ace Attorney Animations. So if the good driver says that he saw Mr. McGilded in the act, I don't doubt him. The only task left to do today is disposing of the rubbish. Ah, now wait a minute. One of the other jurors mentioned something about money, I think. Now would be a very good time to listen carefully to the jurors' statements again, Mr. Naruhodo. I appreciate your comment, Taven. Very flattering. If you notice an inconsistency in what two different jurors are saying, I should expose it by pitting them against each other. Yes, let's see if I can do just that.
Hold it!
Careful! You could hurt somebody with that. You're a fine one to talk. What of that sword hanging from your waist, No, that's just my battered soul. Well, anyway, I despise anyone with too much money. They're all the same. All stabbing some brickmaker or other behind the scenes, you mark my words.
Objection!
That seems very unlikely, doesn't it? Are you mad, man? We know that Small Shorty is a rotten Shylock. Well, yes, that does seem to be the case, but... Mr. Naruhodo, please, be careful what you say. If he's been trying to squeeze money out of us less fortunate, then as far as I'm concerned, he's as guilty as sin. The man can hang. Come to think of it, didn't one of the other jurors have something to say about the defendant's underhand activities? Emphasis on underhand. No homo. The man died. If you've thought of something, Mr. Naruhodo, don't let it go. Test your theory. Pit the two jurors whose statements seem to be contradictory against each other. No time like the present to use seed to pit them against each other, or I'll never get anywhere. But nah, the flavor text though, gotta keep going.
Hold it!
What have you been doing all this time? What have you been doing all this time? There. I should have thought it was obvious. I'm recording everything that takes place as part of these proceedings. And what have you learned from that? For example, at this moment in time, the judge has used his gavel 11 times in total. The prosecution has snorted derisively? Huh. Just all types of vocab words, it's incredible. The prosecution has snorted derivously at your remarks 7 times in total. And, I might add, each time you have gawped like a simpleton. Thank you. And what's the point exactly? So, anyway, madam, are you able to explain why you think the defendant is guilty? That is a conclusion I have drawn as a result of copious notes I have typed. Clearly, but I'm asking you to explain why you've drawn that conclusion. Please don't distract me. It makes it extremely hard to concentrate on my note-keeping. This is going nowhere.
Hold it!
That's how much it costs to take the omnibus. That's right. As the guildmaster, I decided to set a policy out for all drivers across the city. One fare, no matter which bus you take or how far you're going. I have to compete with the rise of the motor car, you see. Us coachmen have to make a stand together. Motor cars, you say? Yes. And this murder on one of our buses is extremely damaging to our cause. It's beyond the pale. It'll lead to a decline in passengers, you mark my words. And it's all that rascal's fault. He has to pay. Is it the crime or his buses he's more worried about? Anyway, every member of my guild is reliable and trustworthy. So if the driver says he saw him do it, that fellow in the dock is as guilty as sin. Oh, where's Zeke's? Nah, he's chilling. He's taking a break. He's enjoying that incredibly expensive wine.
Hold it!
I really think you should stop waving that needle around. You heard what the good coachman said before, didn't you? That hideous man stabbed the poor fellow, just like this. Yes, that is what he said. You're right. McGilded Park is such a lovely little place, too. I've always enjoyed resting my legs there while I get on with my knitting. And I had thought that anyone who donated such a delightful place must be a fine fellow indeed. I suppose I was wrong. Whoever would have thought he was a miserable, murdering moneylender with not a scrap of remorse? Oh, help. She's as sure as she can be that she's guilty now. The old lady certainly seems to know her mind, doesn't she? So, we just need to find two jurors with contradictory statements and pit them against each other. Which is so much easier said than done. Is that perhaps what you were just thinking? How did you know? You mean read my thoughts after I've thought them and before I've thought them? That's crazy. Well, you see, it's all in the all-powerful script. Well, I took the liberty of doing some research, in case you happen to just find yourself in such a situation. Shall I read you what I found? It's a little long, I'm afraid. No, I think it's just a review. If I have to rely on advice right from the start, how will I get on later? No, I need to work this out for myself now. Is that perhaps what you were just thinking? How did you know? Well, that sort of attitude is most admirable, Mr. Naruhodo. I know what I have to do. Let's listen to these assertions one more time. Alright. So now we have a game plan. It's time to execute. So I think we'll start at the most obvious part. Let's see, he stuck the chap next to him right like this. The side shot. But she believes he stabbed the man on the floor.
Objection!
Those two statements are completely contradictory. What? Explain, counsel, post haste. Oh, dearie me, I was only knitting a jumper for my other half. What is all this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I ask you? We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3. What? Can't you see that I'm busy here? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it? Ha! Want to test me, do you? It was like this. Stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. Just like the prim banker said. Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony. Quite true. Now then, juror number 6. Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam? Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it, it was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so.
Now don't move! Ah, he blinked. He fucking moved.
Take a look at these two jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him, without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. Well, I never! They're stabbing in totally different directions. What? Bless my stitches! What a muddle!
What a muddle. What a phrase, what a phrase.
What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth. Oh, but why? Why the dickens would they lie? I don't know that yet, but what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen? In all good conscience? Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. I can't abide people telling lies. And there it is, folks, the quarter circle forward punch. Hit him with the fireball. Let me turn up this music, it's too good. It's too good. The scales. I don't believe it. Wait! Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him in his black suit. He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all. Says the motherfuckers are slamming down You're slamming your fists on buttons that shoot fireballs. Who are you to judge magic? If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this? Answer me this, Dark Jinx. Huh? Me? What exactly is the problem? What of it that two witnesses have slightly different recollections of events? What of it? Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he sat next to him on the omnibus. And this young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor, and then the Shylock stabbed him again. And this old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that, Angel Faith Imani! Thank you for the follow. I don't know if you're in the stream or not. But thank you for the follow. Glad you can make it, or at least just support me. I really appreciate that. Hope you stick around and enjoy the show. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that, Who are you calling dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you. Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you. You're ready to kill each other now. Look who's paying attention in the chat. Good for y'all, good for y'all. But could the foreman of the jury be right? Did the two witnesses see two different moments of the same crime? No. If we do look at the court record, it should just be one stab. A single stab, exactly. It's out of the question. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman. What is it, you dark jinx? Come on, out with it! What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question. Yeah. What are you talking about, man? How could you possibly say that? You do realize that I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I say the two witnesses saw 2 different moments of the same crime. If you say that's out of the question, show me some proof! It looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is to cook this motherfucker. It looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is to present him something he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable, hard evidence. As you wish. What? I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that these 2 witnesses saw 2 different moments of the same crime, as proven by the motherfucking non-updated autopsy report. Hit him! This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen only once. Only once? It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely 1 time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen 2 different times. Alright, I concede defeat. Clean your glasses. It very much did say cool this motherfucker. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. You did it. If we can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds, we can force the trial to continue. 2 more, actually. There is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions. Then that's where you must strike next. So I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show there's another contradiction in their assertions. Or assertions. Exactly. You can do it. How is she able to read my mind? These are thought bubbles. Text boxes, whatever. Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination. Oh, you can't press those. That's a new dialogue. That's cute. Let's see. From the people we pressed earlier, there was something Ryunosuke noted about money. And the 2 people who mentioned money are juror number 2, 20, something about 20 pence, and juror number 5. You can trust the guild fares is our motto. We haven't raised our prices above 4 pence for years. Well, that's just not right.
Objection!
Those 2 statements clearly contradict each other. They do? Explain yourself, counsel. Me? Oh dear, what have I said? I swear on Silverblaze's mane and name, I haven't the first idea what you're talking about. According to the group testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus on the night in question. And And according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares. Quite right. I have those precise details typed neatly in front of me. The juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence.
That it is. A fair and convenient single price. Just the way London's carriage should be operated.
But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts.
Why, man, why?
4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication, it would be 16 pence. Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Or precisely, 1 person's fare.
No, Debbie, the walk is a really nice touch. I'm glad they did that.
1 person's fare? Yes! In other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible there was another passenger we've heard nothing about. Good gracious!
Uh-oh. This can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, one and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword.
The figures your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy.
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride on his omnibus.
Oh. Very sneaky, good sir. All right then, how do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end, Yes, Usato, add to the fire.
Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire onto the innocent side of your set scales.
Now hold your horses there, coachman. We were all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo!
I can hear the salary-cutting noises from here.
Beppo, you dumb fuck. This is all very irritating.
Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For the love of Mike! Not you as well.
Who's Mike? What? I don't know if that's a phrase. Was that something of the times? Whatever. A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters.
Oh, really?
I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Wait! That means 4 jurors are now leaning to not guilty! We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won!
What are you playing at, you dandy fool?
Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me.
But we had a consensus.
I said shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade and shave every last hair on his head. Please tell me he's a barber. Well, in a quite remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to educate, and the trial must continue. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places. And I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth. Alright, good shit, good shit. So, Lord Van Zeeks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please. Having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hallowed chalice, it may seem crash to crush it into dust. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks! Is it cold in here? Is it just me? Well, it's certainly getting hot in the chat. I see y'all. I see y'all. Oh, goodness. As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summation examination. So I honored a deathly silence and listened to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. God damn. Oh my god, I forgot about that. He's so fucking salty whenever these work. Look away. I can't look away, man. Oh goodness. Well, no matter. There is nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No. And why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence, after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. Bring forth the witnesses once more. Witnesses, I trust you heard the summation examination we have just had to endure. Oh, yes, sir. I did, sir. Of course I heard it. Oh, yes, sir. I heard it. You, sir, on the end. The coachman. I believe it's Beppo. Yes, sir, my lord, sir. If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you are attempting to veil the presence of a 5th passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury, and you are advised to bear that in mind, sir. Yeah, the cloak comes off. Nothing changes, though. Although he may get a little more comfortable and, flexible. We'll see if that comes up, though. Oh, mio Dio. Now then, witnesses, I hereby call you to testify before the court again. You will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination.
I know what I'm saying.
I only carried four passengers that night. I swear it. But,
Well, I for one was told that I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
he fiddled us on the fare, he did. And then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much.
I tell you, I saw Mr. McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
Oh, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes.
Counsel, make sense of this for me, please.
The phantom fifth passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cosenage.
Beppo, explain yourself!
I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster.
The guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging our passengers a penny a fare?
It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty.
You have been dishonest, coachman.
I'm sorry.
You're a disgrace, Beppo! A disgrace! And your selfish actions have brought dishonor upon the entire guild!
If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week.
What?!
4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently. No, that figures.
Oh, Beppo. Man's gotta eat, though. I understand. But to cheat people out of money. Oh.
Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained.
So, counsel for the defense. Your cross-examination, if you please.
We've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games. Absolutely!
Wait, who looks like Draco Malfoy?
Oh.
Kinda.
Alrighty then. Quickly say what we have chime. Chime? Wind chimes. They're a nice sound, a little annoying at times. But what about time?
Hold it!
So, there were only 4 passengers on your carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4 pence fare.
That's okay, Maya. Do what you need to do.
Is that right? It's impossible to make that last run of the day pay. I was so cold, and it was all I could do to stop myself from passing out. Chill planes? What the hell?
Chill. Alright, no, this stops now. I'm looking this shit up. What the hell is a chilblain? If that's even what that is. Oh. Chill. Well, I guess because he's cold looking? What is a chilblain? Skin sores or bumps that occur after exposure to very cold temperatures. Chilblains may be an abnormal blood vessel response. Women, underweight people, and those with Raynaud's phenomenon are at increased risk. Huh. Abnormal blood vessel response. The man's cold even in a fucking courtroom. Granted, those aren't like super cold, but still, they're a little cold. But to be shivering like that? That's crazy. Let him hustle? So, sure, he can self-hustle, but not on a company's time. That much is certain. It reflects poorly on everybody.
It was terrible! So I wanted to give myself a pat on the back for even keeping the bus running. Doesn't a dedicated coachman deserve an extra penny per passenger? You're digging a deeper hole for yourself here. If only there had been a fifth passenger on the omnibus that night. Then we would have another suspect.
Hold it!
Does that mean that everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4? Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir.
And I just told you that I did.
A flat fare of 5 pence across the board? It's not something to be proud of.
The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed, it's gone, dead and buried.
I'd have been happy if it had ever existed in the first place.
Nah, he's not choking the whole time. He's pulling himself up by the bootstraps. He's doing his best. That's all we can do. That's all he can do.
Hold it!
This blood-curdling sight? You mean the murderer, I presume? Yes, sir. A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in a man's eyes in the moment his life is taken. Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed.
Good gracious! Really? We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it.
But Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. That may turn out to be very significant. I heard the banker gent next to me take a sharp intake of breath, see? That's when I looked through the glass. That's when I saw the horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood.
If witnesses were actually being held for, like, lying in court in the Ace Attorney universe. The fact that no example springs to my mind is a problem. But that's the joke, I suppose. That's the joke.
Every time I see a knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating.
Hold it!
So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilded, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him?
That's what I said, isn't it?
It was bothering me before this was. For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question.
Anyway, the
was only the two of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? There's been much talk of a fifth passenger, but as of yet, zero evidence. Then what are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty. Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. I wish I could work out what it was.
Goody, now we know the statement to press. Thanks, Ace Attorney.
He's 6'3". It's the boots, I tell you, it's the boots.
Hold it!
Earlier, you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you? Oh, yes, that's right. You said that the victim was on the floor, and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice-pick grip.
Drop him off at my place when you're done.
Hold it! Oh shit. I need to record my own fucking Ace Attorney shouts. That'd actually be kind of fun. For like donation things, or like just alerts.
I gotta remember that. That'd be funny.
I suppose.
I'll get the wine. Oh, goodness.
I might have, yes, put the cart before the horse, maybe. What's this? Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the seats of the roof deck. Oh, I expect that was me, sir. Then when I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor, and the knife was sticking up out of his midriff. That's right, yes. And the fellow holding the handle was the famous man. Yes. So, in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all? I really thought that I did, but when I go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I? Alright, my guy. Want your attention?
Excuse me!
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay? Now you listen to me! I know what you're thinking. He didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh? Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? Well, let's consider the omnibus. Oh. Yeah? Okay. So how about this void? Oh man. What a lovely piece of evidence this is. Goodness gracious. What the fuck? Oh, you come back here. There we go. Incredible. I'm not gonna get over that. That's fucking weird as shit. Okay, well, the driver would have sat from here. So this leaves literally no way for him to see what goes on inside here.
Clip it for bugs. Capcom, I've got you, you bastards.
Well, I guess with that being said, some days are... it be like that, sir.
Oh, the omnibus had to get milk. At fucking light speed. Them horses are off to the races. They're gone.
Alright.
We say no chance.
Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on the top of an omnibus, that is.
Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it as clear as a Ballarat day.
Later. We'll look that up later.
It was a grim scene. I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord.
I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw.
Oh, I can do that all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after the butcher stabbed the man?
Oh, what's this now?
Hold it!
Let's press him, let's press him.
Blood-soaked?
Him? Well, perhaps soaked is laying on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. Both of them? Ho ho ho, good sir.
And you saw that from the roof, through the skylight?
Well, the skylight's reasonably large, so I had a pretty good view. If there was a lamp on inside the carriage as well, so I'm sure of what I saw.
This banker's last statement. I feel sure there's something not quite right about it. When you feel something doesn't add up, Mr. Naruhodo, that's when you should have a good look through the court record.
Not even necessary.
Not long ago, this trial very nearly came to an end. Somehow, we've managed to keep our chances alive here. I can't waste this cross-examination. I have to use it to bring some new facts to light. If you're not careful when you press these witnesses, the danger is that the jury will end up believing something unhelpful, as they did before. Maybe. But we can't let that fear of that happening stop us from uncovering important new information. Why are you so surprised? Yes, you're so right. I need to pay careful attention here. I don't want to miss even a flicker of a reaction among these witnesses. Well, this is our first time in British courts, friends.
It has to be tutorial time.
Remember, if you happen to spot one of the witnesses reacting in a strange way, don't hesitate to pursue them as to the reason.
Nah, but we got this fool. Let's cook him. Let's cook him.
Let's see. But, just in case. I mean, it's a very glaring contradiction in the court record. But you know what? Just in case. Just in case. Sir!
Objection!
Blood-soaked hands.
Well, I admit that soaked might have been laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it.
Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's a little more peculiar.
What?
Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question.
Oh, yes, right.
And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there. But, as I'm sure you can already see, it's only on the right-hand glove.
Ah!
In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent.
Fuck him up.
I'ma fuck it up.
Gah! But, no! That can't be right.
So you're the liar here then?
Gah!
That's right. You were quite clear about it. You said it was both hands. Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth?
Objection!
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it wasn't both hands. It was only one. But the fact remains. The victim's blood is on the accused.
Objection!
No! Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands. Which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court. Why? I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be the gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snap. Upstanding members of society don't prevaricate. Prevaricate. Fuck these words! He's claiming to have no reason to lie. But is that really the case? Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide of this trial completely. Something to show this man has a compelling reason to lie in his testimony. Well, let's take a look. Do we have evidence? What if? Just say, what if? You know, actually, we haven't looked at this.
He does say it. It's so weird to hear the difference between the Japanese objection and the English objection. Because with like the English objection, you get objection. It's very soft spoken. But if I'm trying to recall the Japanese way he does it, it's a little more oomph to it. He goes like "Igiari," but like louder. Actually, I don't remember where I heard this. I think a funny story. The Japanese voice actor for Ryunosuke he did like over 100 takes to get like his objection right, just going "Igiari" in like different ways. But apparently, I think they used his very first take instead of any of the hundreds he could have possibly done. I'd be pissed. Imagine getting that shit on the first fucking take. But that's the life, I suppose. Want to make sure you cover all your bases and then choose the best one. And it so happened to be the very first one. What bullshit. What larks.
This portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of London's gentry. Oh dear. Do you think we ought to look inside? Well, it's not as though we know any of London's gentry personally, is it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder. I assure you we will not find Mr. Sholmes' name inside. Well, let's see what we find. You never know. Oh, God damn it. Huh. I guess Miss Barrett was speaking in cursive after all. Great Britain's so weird. They speak in cursive and write in cursive. Writing in cursive is so hard sometimes. You really have to grow up doing that shit to get a knack for it. Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it? Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off. Goodness! What is it? Look at this. Do you see the name here? Bruce Fairplay.
Ho ho, the receipts. Quite literally got the receipts.
Should that mean something to me? Ryunosuke, please. It does sound strangely familiar, actually. Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment. Oh, yes, of course, the banker. Why is his name in here? Ah, he borrowed 20 guineas, did he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching. It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information.
Ha ha, let's get it. Fool.
My lord. Yes, counsel? The defense is ready to cook the witness.
By Jove! Are you sure? Do you have all the spices, all the temperature, the right thing?
Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony. Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court.
Take that!
This is a list of the debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilded. Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused extortion. The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused?
No. Well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say?
Well, what of it?
Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case? These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist. Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something you never saw?
I had all that energy, all that delivery, all that build-up. I fucking blew it. Nah, run it back though, run it back.
Is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw? In a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant? Soiled it! Soiled it! Order! 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 Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, m'lord. Let me ask you again. And be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir.
Well, thanks, Blue Jay Comics, for the clip. I'll give it a look-see later. I don't know which one it is.
Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim? Oh. Your silence speaks volumes! You did not tell the truth in your testimony. All right, now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth a pinch. A pinch? But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on Mr. McGilded's hands. Both of them.
Objection!
And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained. So you keep saying... I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir. Go ahead, Mr. First. Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes, I'm almost sure that it was on both of his hands, not just one. What? Oh, god damn it. Oh, we were doing so well. It would appear that we are going to need further testimony from all of you witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yes. Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last. Yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. Maybe give it a turnabout. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Uh-oh. We were in modern... What the hell was it called? Modern... In Glee Club for all that long. I don't remember. What the fuck? Moderato. We were first in Moderato, now we're in Allegro. We're picking up the pace. This stew is a-going. There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attackers' hands with bloods on them. I didn't actually see anything myself. No, not that until I heard that scream. Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we would have all seen. Well, lo and behold. In truth of the fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying what we saw the man do it. That's really not what testimony is about. Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the victim's accounts. In other words, there is no substantial or significant change in the facts of the case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord. Alrighty. After we save, let's see what we can pick apart.
Hold it!
No! The evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing on the night in question in the court record. I'm well aware of that, sir. But nevertheless, I know what I saw, and I stand by it. The man had blood on both hands. He's defiant, even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might be mistaken about what he saw. But why? Your reasoning is dire. One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim crime, the victim's blood dripped guiltily across the accused's fingers.
Hold it!
Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance, as well you know. Yeah, but for crying out loud, we all know that no one else could have possibly done it. I was just trying to save us all some time. You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? Had you have hoped to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty? That's not entirely not what I was hoping for. I just lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the derby, that's all. I was going to win it all back. There's a fixture this weekend that's a sure thing. A little guinea or 10? I'm a banker. No one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend. But does he have a point, though? Yes, Caleb. The Goombler. Known for being a non-existent enemy in Super Mario Bros. And whatever the fuck type of language that is for a gambler. Hard times, hard times. I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. This witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness. Is that how that's really supposed to work? Yep. As someone who's played the first Ace Attorney, yep, that's exactly how that works.
Hold it!
You definitely saw that too. Blood on both hands? Yes, sir. I mean, I know what you're going to say. Only one of Mr. McGilded's gloves has any sign of blood on it. That's right. The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and I saw Mr. McGilded sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir. He wasn't wearing these gloves? That's correct, sir. And I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly. It's true that the dark-colored stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see.
I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilded's gloved hands.
There wasn't blood on his hands? This is puzzling indeed. This must be significant somehow. I'm sure of it.
He does need a new hat. He does need a new hat.
Hold it!
You didn't see anything? Oh, yes, sir. That is to say, no, sir, I didn't. I'm very sorry about what I said before, sir. Very sorry, yes. It was very wrong of me to make up stories and say I saw him stab the man. But wouldn't you agree, sir?
I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories.
Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it? No, sir. I saw nothing at all. Mr. Beppo, you were driving the horses. At the very least, you, must have enjoyed a good view of London's streets, no? Okay, bye. Oh, please. You didn't even see that. It was so cold that night, you see. It was all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was fairly frozen solid. Sorry to say, sir.
It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights. Beppo!
Yeah.
Oh, Beppo. A terrible little fuck up.
Hold it!
Seriously, go to a doctor for that fucking colds. And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus?
That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over.
Oh, yes. I remember I was shivering. It was so bitter. Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place.
Well, I don't know this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin.
Oh? Why not?
It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door.
It was locked?
That's right. And it's a public bus service, for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play.
Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below.
Well, I can assure you that I wasn't just looking down, I was glaring, long and hard. And that's precisely why I can tell you that with absolute confidence, that if there was anyone else in that cabin at all, I would have noticed. Unequivocal, I would say.
Oh, game, please, thank you. I'm not so sure about these two witnesses. Could they have really seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? I mean, well, certainly not everything, plus it depends on which bench they were sitting at.
Wade's is fun. Wade's is so much fun. I'm having a ball here. Yeah, they might not have been able to.
Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. you were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight in the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? Yes, that's right. How did you read that backwards? That's right, yes. In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you. What? By golly, really? Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure, but the possibility cannot be denied that at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin on the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh. Very well. I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area on this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that this potential extra passenger could have been situated? Well, let's consider this very carefully. As genius as he is, I would not want Ryunosuke as my lawyer. He's starting... Yeah, that's kind of the deal with Ace Attorney. This is not how real law works, obviously. These motherfuckers are just going in with like a day's worth, most of the time a day's worth with fucking case knowledge, I guess. Ryunosuke's got it worse because he just found this shit out like an hour ago, at most maybe. So he's literally having to think on the fly and figure this shit out. Phoenix more or less like does mostly the same. I don't think there's too many cases where he has to think on the fly with like very little case law or information about the case, I just say, not case law. Okay. They wouldn't be able to sit here. They would most likely be sitting here, which means they would have had clear view of here. So it's most likely that the extra passenger could have been...
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin, which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight, is as I've drawn here. Oh, those are actually not too bad drawings. No wonder Phoenix wanted to be an art student. It runs in the genes. Ah. Might as well walk into prison the same day. No, that's not how that... Well, that's actually not how that works in the Ace Attorney universe. If you, like, get a game over and fuck up in, like, old Ace Attorney games, the judge is like, we're sending... The victim has been claimed guilty, we're sending you to a higher court, because that is how that works in law. And, your sentence will be, like, determined from there. Oh, no problem, Blue Draconics. You can go. It's okay. Thanks for stopping by. Or I guess if you're coming right back. That's fine as well. That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one on which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. Gah!
Objection!
It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding? Yeah, I read that right. It's okay. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. Oh. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude. Can you, Mr. Naruhodo? I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? These two are on the fucking roof. These three are on the roof. He's there. He's there. When he gets races. You'd be singing a different tune if it was against us, Debbie. You'd very much be singing a different tune. Is there another person? Why are we laughing? Right now, racism. Of course, of course. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. I guess? Well, we're not getting a penalty, so I guess we could possibly say I have no idea. I have literally no idea. But as a proud citizen of the Japanese Empire, you will look to the sky and walk on, making sure all signs of tears are gone. Go on. This isn't just a case of going on, Miss Susato. Unfollows. Fair enough. Have a good day. All right then. I'll go on. The defense would like to put forward a name. You are a fool. That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learned. Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name a passenger on the other seat. Oof! This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn this trial in my favor. Oh, you're still here? Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate you. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that was obscured from view was... Oh. Oh no. What? Alright. Okay, let's think about this. Let's really consider the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that was obscured from view. I mean... Can I check my court record? There's nothing. There's nothing! God damn it, there's nothing! We really have to put forward a name, huh? Okay.
Okay, Blue Draconic says McGilded. They saw the killer, but not McGilded. There wasn't a third person. But it's so frustrating because even when we saw what the witnesses saw, both of their faces were obscured. So it could be either one of them. But we do have photographic evidence that Thrice Fried, I keep saying Thrice Fried, Thrice Fired Mason was sitting where he sat. So the other person must be... We'll try McGill and see where that gets us.
Take that!
Ah shit, the music stopped. We did it. We solved the case. Oh, Strongheart maybe? Oh, definitely. The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of the defendant!
Objection!
Look, man, Ace Attorney laws... Oh! Holy shit! He fucking obliterated his chalice! In such spectacular fashion! And that lamp shows no signs of damage. How did he do that? The Grim Reaper of defendants and of wine chalices. Claim them chalices for chalice hell, where they're judged by the great... Bit over, keep going, bit over. If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the do forgive the... I can't do it! The discourtesy. Do forgive the discourtesy. Oh, even I'm stumbling here. Oh, he's too cool. Lord Van Zeeks! People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use the terms ill-advisedly. What are you trying to say? I'm trying to say I'm racist. Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection!
But that premise may be wrong. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way. What inconsistency, counsel? Yes, what inconsistency? The defendant's gloves, my lord. The gloves? Why the gloves? Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claim that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains. The point is, even if the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. Yes, their testimony remains unchanged. Exactly.
They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of the events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. Oh? It was somebody else sitting besides the victim that night. A third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on the passenger's hands. Both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party? Obviously, the true culprit. Extraordinary!
Aha, pull shit out of our ass. Let's get it.
Order! 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 What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation is just that. Nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused. But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Aha! Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them though. Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir. And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First? I'm afraid I don't remember. And you call yourself a hatter? The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin. How can you be sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would have undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact. Ooh. Unless, that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled? Ah! He's right. If there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it. Order! There is clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand. Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? He's a big poo-poo head. As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion? My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify, or not? Well, we're not gonna get any further in this trial just deliberating on hypothetics. Let's see what he has to say. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Oh, yes, I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say. Get the man out here, I say! It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild.
Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say? Oh yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard.
Some foreman you are.
Very well. The court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once.
Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear.
Caleb, no! Stream after stream, you keep exposing yourself.
Daddy, no! Daddy, yes!
Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse on of the day?
To be sure I have, my lord.
There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin, as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police?
Begad, no! 'Tis not in my nature to hide anything at all.
Just answer the questions, please.
The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell yous all, or keep your mouth shut?
To tell us what, Mr. McGilded?
The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night of myself and the other man, there was another passenger.
It's true!
Aye, and 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened.
You... What?! No, Magnus McGilded. That convenient excuse can't save you now.
I'm truly sorry, so I am, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you.
Which was?
Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not in any way involved, you see.
What?
If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord.
And who was this young child of whom you speak?
That, I don't know.
You don't know?
Aye, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings.
What? Ah! Smoke! Ah! Fire! There's a fire! Look, someone's trying to get away! After them! It's no use! I can't see anything through all this smoke! What's going on?
Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face.
Bailiff! Don't let the accused escape! Secure the omnibus! I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Amid the scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber, we had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. Well, shit. What the fuck happened? No. Going raw, no saves. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened. Miss Usato. I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. Yes. Quite the nice mustache. So full and beautiful and... avert your eyes. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions. Along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? Caleb! Caleb, please. Oh, God. Oh, man. I smite thee. Oh, goodness gracious. Why are they underage, Caleb? To smite you. That's exactly. Oh, not to smite you, I suppose. To spite you is what I'm trying to say. Be horny with another series. Or hey, stick along. Maybe I'll do more Ace Attorney, and there'll be plenty more to choose from. And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence. Oh, according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo. He took 4 passengers that night, at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. Ooh, water. Where's the water? But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers, which means the figures don't seem to add up again.
I see that, I see that.
She's right. That is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed to the courtroom. The trial will recommence. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll know soon enough, Miss Susato. Yes. Oh boy, how to do her voice. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before.
Nah, just a little stuffed up nose. I don't think it's anything too major. You see, at work, the office is very cold.
Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks, my lord, I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army.
The army?
Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by the young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught, and now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? Ahem, if I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded. I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why is it that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that? 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. You explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, begorrah, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up in a fair start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where the scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct? 'Tis exactly as the defense counsel said. This last was the 5th passenger, my lord. Well, I'll be damned. My bullshit went through. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel?
Yes, my lord.
Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. You just be brooding in the corner. All right.
Hold it!
And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board?
There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either.
You were the first passenger, as it were. I see.
Aye, and that's why I took the backside as I did.
It is the most comfortable, so it is.
Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means. This is how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say? And a scream?
Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? 'Twas like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise.
So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed?
Well now, you remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me up, I opened my eyes. There wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fella on the floor.
You didn't see anyone. And it was raining men. But at the same moment, you did hear a scream? Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume.
Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before me eyes.
Hold it!
You sat him up? The victim, you mean? That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone.
And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? Yes. Kids, if you find a dead body, fucking don't touch it. Do not touch it. Do not be associated with it. Don't touch it. You tell somebody about it. Do not touch it. 'Cause that just incriminates you. And you don't want that in your life. No, sirree. So hey, maybe Debbie's got a point. Maybe this story is a little too far-fetched. I love touching dead bodies. Caleb, please. 'Tis a common courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe.
Ara. What the fuck is this localization? I'm thinking this man's British, but he sounded a little more American Southern to me, and now we've got motherfucking Japanese ara-aras in this bitch. And I just instinctively did that.
Fuck it. Fuck it, go all in. Fuck it.
Ara, Lord Van Zeeks. Now why would that be?
You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is.
Let me get the best ada. Pay me. Oh shit. You know what? Fuck it, baby. I'll do it. Clip that shit. Use it against me. I don't care. Oh, bet, Caleb. Oh shit. How much I gotta pay for you to do Omni-Man? Phrasing? Specifically what line, I mean, actually. Oh well.
Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business.
The butt thing?
Oh. Well...
I'd have to do like a whole bunch of squats, and like a whole bunch of photoshopping, and like change my race. That's a lot of commitment. And actually cosplay. Well, whatever.
The business of lending money and at exorbitant rates of interest? Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no! I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. Now you tell somebody first and foremost. The whys and wherefores? Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes. The scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing.
Hold it!
Well, I'll be damned. A notification thing. Did Caleb actually do it? We have one donation from Ara. Do it, my guy. Alright. Thank you, Caleb Berry. Thank you very much. Alright. I'll give you 3 takes of my best Ara, so prepare to clip this shit. Alright, let's see. Okay, I got it.
Ara.
Alright, there you go. Have fun. Have fucking fun with that. If you want to do anything with it, of course.
I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir, so I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'tis a queer ting, a wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Good gracious! Screaming butts. Ugh. Sir, under your backside? Sir, I believe that's what we call a fart. And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found that there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside. And that's when I found her.
Well, we've already looked at the omnibus, and we did determine that there was a motherfucking storage.
But perhaps there's something new. Step into the ring. When did that get there? Hold up. Huh. Alright. That's blood, isn't it? Is something wrong? Oh, it's just... Well, this bloodstain is so obvious, that's all. And yet Van Ziek's made no mention of it. I suppose that does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? Okay, yeah. Women's clothing is impractical. Impractical. What? Hey, wait a minute. There was stuff in here. What happened? Maybe it was a good idea to check it out. Oh my, indeed. This is a storage compartment, but there's nothing in here. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. I guess you could say this is pretty... sus.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding herself? Aye, that's right. 'Twas hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. Ugh, you're really overacting this. Still and all, I put her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chin wag with her. Chin wag? These British expressions elude me, so I guess I'm going to find out what a chin wag really is.
Chin wag.
A chat.
Okay. It's British slang. Alright. I guess that makes more sense. Since this guy's put up quite a bit of an accent. The more you know.
The seat opposite? That's right. Just next to the dead gentleman there. Well, 'cause that's not traumatizing at all. My God. Why you gotta be my defendant? What the fuck? You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir? Cook him. Tell him what's what. Fuck him up. Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream. A fella's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilded. What they believed to be you yourself, and the victim was in fact this girl and the late Mr. Mason? Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat in the back of the carriage out of sight. Then why? It certainly is plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused, perhaps, with this young girl. After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you. I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here? A petty thief? Order! Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. Ah! Congratulations, sir, you've been poisoned. Yay! How dare you? What is the meaning of this? She dipped! How dare she? Or I guess in this term, dipped under the stand. It works both ways. Yay! The girl! She's gone! Open your eyes! Over here. Good gracious! How? What was the What was the point in that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the jaw. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gem. Go on. That's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the... Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs? Oh, this? Yeah, this was in a bag I lifted the other day, down where they keep the four-wheeled drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Ah, do not wave that thing in my direction again!
I need a drink.
So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question? "'Tis all right, lass. You can tell him the truth now." "All right, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said." "The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please." "You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question." "All right, if I have to." "So I snuck inside the carriage before they looked up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles last night. I tell you, I can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of my skin, I did. And the scream just came out. It's because of that, this swell found me. He did help me get away, mind." "Yes, he let you go? I fail to understand why you would let the sea urchin go, Mr. McGilded." "Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I know that for a fact." "How?" As I'm sure I said before, sir." "I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself." "I think a demonstration is called for." "This is where I sat that night. And the cubbyhole of which you have spoken is underneath the seat, I presume." "Yes. It does appear just large enough to accommodate someone at the girl's stature." "Aye, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there, because I had parked myself on the seat for duration." "Ah! So you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police had found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent." "Even though you must have realized your action would have resulted in your own innocence being called into question." "Not at all, my lord. Not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman." "My lord! This fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir." With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Woo! Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woohoo! Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual and they're leaning to a verdict of not guilty? Mr. Naruhodo, this... well, it must mean... It must mean what? That we're victorious! We've won? Are you sure?
Objection!
If the sight of my iron-hued Wellington offends, pray do forgive the discourtesy. You about to shove a foot in someone's ass? Oh boy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices. Ah, shit, here he goes. Where evidence and reasoning should hold paramount, emotion rules the day. Emotion? No home training. He's been very patient thus far. Should at least give him this. But, honestly, prosecutors in the future will do much, much, much worse. Like, holy shit. But we'll get there when we get there. The witness's last statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature.
What do you mean, his true nature?
Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. Okay. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in this police report. Good lord! Yeah, because that's what we saw earlier that was in the omnibus. The evidence has been tampered with. Oh, shit! In order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. What? Order! Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been affected, counsel?
Oh, it was the smoke screen. Oh, it must have happened during the recess. That's the only time.
Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary. Constabulary. I know what it means. I've said it before. Why can't I stutter? Constabulary. Constabulary? Constabulary. I feel like it should be said something different, but I think I'm right. Whatever. Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Which is true, we verified that for ourselves. Well, my Nipponese friend?
Me?
When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as with any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be?
Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear up this in a jiffy. Sorry. Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. This is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zeeks.
Ah, shit. Well, counsel, do you have something to say on this matter?
How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of the little compartment under the seat of the omnibus? Well, shit. Okay. I mean, we did look. I can't lie about that. I mean, it wasn't empty, but in that case, that would help the prosecution more. If we say it was empty, we lie like a dog. Yeah, sure. Big sin, big sin. I mean, I don't think this really will negatively penalize us. The result might be the same. I mean, it wasn't empty. This much is true. Do we help our defendant? Or do we admit the truth and help the prosecution? All of this is just a little bit sus. I mean, maybe... we saw it for ourselves. It wasn't empty. Guess we can admit that. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel for the defense. But as far as I remember, at least, when I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes. Are you sure, counsel? Hara, bewist! What are you saying now, you daft doll? I thought you were on my side here. What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position? As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. But it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. Interesting. 'Tis not altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Well, I don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interests here, lad. Now then, a fella's memory is a curious thing, and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That there cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest to admit that you might have been mistaken? Ooh. Oh no. Why do I feel like something's not right here? 'Cause it's not. Something's super not right here. I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The Guild's rules state the omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. So it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo isn't that irresponsible. Is there a way to get a different verdict based on how you play? Technically? Well, I mean, technically there's only one case I can think of that gives you, like, either way to choose your verdict on how the case ends. But that's a little in the future. But The main idea is to go for a non-guilty verdict. That's your job as the defense. So as far as this game's concerned, no. If we get a guilty verdict, we lose. That's just how it goes. But it's very interesting how this is. Oh, goodness.
One second, everybody.
Okay.
Let's continue onward.
That money-lending fleecer and the pick-purser lie. I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, the lot of them. What? Oh no. It's a trick! Of course it's a trick.
Quite so. I must concur here. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems.
My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please.
Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem.
Alright. Quick update, just so y'all know. I'm planning on going until 1 a.m. Central. So I'll call it quits after 18 minutes.
So let's make the best of these 18 minutes. Let's get moving.
Hold it!
So, you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run? Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending a Joey at it to make a few
Okay. Cockney.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending a Joey to make a few bob, eh? That's the rum idea, isn't it? I suppose she means there's no point spending money to make money. It actually makes sense.
Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief. Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants. Everybody can read my mind. How? Stop that! These are my thoughts. They're blue for a reason.
Well, that does clear up the little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece.
making the 20 to which the cabman testified. And one little scapegoat riding for free. The red conch on the driver always goes for some grub before his last run, see? So that's when I slip into the carriage and get myself in and under the seat. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment. Full of equipment for the coach, no. Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chunk all that out and cram it into a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue.
Hold it!
A waste of time? Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on me own and the guard permit at least some of the time. I beg your pardon. Did you say God permit? Oh, yeah. Well, that's what McKine calls it. You'd say the omnibuses, I suppose. What? What? The God permit? For a bus nickname? What? No, explain that. What does that mean? Why is it called the God permit? Whatever. The point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one for it for a while. Or no one on it for a while. And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away. That's it. Only that night, this cove was sat on me. This cove was sat on me seat from the start. Okay. This cove was sat on me seat from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded from the enclosed cabin? Yeah. Right, mister? To be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you? So this Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then. So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all? Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with me head and look out the crack. Then I can't have a butcher's at who I can... this is so hard to read. I thought it'd be easy, but it's not. Then I can have a butcher's at who I'm gonna fiddle. Butcher's fiddle? Ugh. Fiddling pig guts. Terrible. Then I can have a butcher's at who I'm gonna fiddle. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time, the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over my head. Excuse me, he's Irish? Do I have to make a whole new accent? Fuck it, whatever, keep going. And for that reason, You weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out. I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown out in the clink. But it's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Upson's choice. Why doesn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor.
He does have a nickname. He is Mick Gilded. Yes, I just didn't notice.
So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out under there. Nothing else for it.
Hold it!
When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let out a scream, involuntarily? That's right. And then I felt the cushion over my head get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes.
Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim. Could it not?
Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it.
Oh.
I pushed up the cabin and had a quick butcher's while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke what had fallen on the floor? What?
Goodness.
The Irishman was sitting up the bloke what had fallen on the floor on the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilded's account, of course. But then, the fella suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should have never risked looking. It's because of that.
Yeah, never mind, I already read that statement.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGilded discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place. I was scared stiff, I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason. Yeah, the bloke had the knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. And the carriage lurched a bit, and he ended up falling onto me. Ugh, how awful. Both me and my hands got covered in blood. It made me feel sick as a dog.
Well, have a good night, Blue Jay Comics. Thank you for stopping by. Always a bash to have you.
Both her hands covered in blood? That must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilded for a while. Is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know my name and what I was up to and that. And I heard something from up above. Someone screamed. Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume. Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later." All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. It's clear that they are still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure we would clinch the verdict we want. Yes, I think you're right. And I have this niggling feeling. Something's bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. Alright, nothing new. So let's see.
Let's examine what we have here. Let's look into the carriage. Nothing to show for the troubles. Can't see anything in the spot. Hear a loud bang. Helped her get away. What do we do about this situation? Loud bang. I'm stunned.
Hold it!
If memory might serve me.
Mints, welcome to the end of the stream. Thanks for coming by. I'm wrapping up in 4 minutes. I do find it somewhat odd that nobody reported a second scream. I guess probably because she was hiding from the thing.
Hold it!
No, nothing new. There's something here. Son of a bitch! Yes, Mens. Niggling. Perhaps examining the omnibus? Yep, it's definitely a compartment. Fuck me. What's the problem here? What's going on? Comes to me now that I actually haven't examined this knife. That part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, sorry, yes. I just don't really like blades. Oh. Those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist. That's not a blade. That's Kazuma's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what the blade looks like. Surprise, it's bloody. Ugh, that looks a lot like blood. It surely is blood. The victim's. Ugh, an Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood. Did you think it wouldn't? Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. I'm finding it a little hard to adjust. Yes, I do understand. An ornate letter M. Undeniably Mr. Magnus McGilded's initial. And it's so beautifully gilded, too. It must be very valuable, I should think. Ah! What is it? Look at this M. If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W. This could change everything. A W? Yes, Susato, getting dubs. Yes, this is one of those, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it. I'm afraid I don't know it all, but what I am sure of is that this is an M. Oh. Well, that idea was quickly quashed. I guess there's nothing else I can examine from the sheet, except for that. No. I doubt there's anything in here that can actually help. No dice. Well, I'm stumped. Well, unfortunately, I think I might have to call it here since I'm not seeing any way to progress. So we will resume Friday. I need to go to bed.
bed.
Right, I keep forgetting that that is an option, and I'll save anyway. Okay. Alright. It's late. Go to bed, y'all. I know, I will. And, yeah, I will.
I'm still debating whether or not I want to reconvene.
Friday or Saturday. Maybe both. Not sure. But alright. Once again, thank you all for joining this stream. You've all been a delight. And stay safe. Have a good night. And take care. Maybe I'll have some more doodads next time I start streaming. 'Twas fun. 'Twas fun. Goodbye, everybody.